alaikum everyone. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and or welcome back if you aren't. For today's video, we're going to be talking about not only my hijab journey, but tips and tricks that have helped me and pretty much all things that has to do with modesty. But I feel like this will be beneficial to other people because, well, one, I want to share it. So like, you know, where I am today versus where I started are two completely different people. And again, hijab is a journey, and I think people really underestimate that. I also feel like if like old me was looking at current me or future me or whatever, I would genuinely not believe it. It wasn't something I saw for myself, you know? I think it's best to just dig in to my hijab story so that you understand exactly where I'm coming from. And I thank you guys again for clicking onto this video. Let's get started. So I do have a little note here to sort of keep track of things, but like I still feel like I don't know where to start. I started wearing hijab at the age of 16. Like officially, but before that I was a part-time hijabi. Pretty much the concept of wearing hijab was never something that was really in my mind. Like I was one of those girlies that was like, oh, you know, I'll start wearing it when I get married. Like I didn't have any sort of understanding or meaning behind it. As whether or not you're born Muslim, you still have to find Islam for yourself. Like I think people think there's this sort of like honor that comes with being born Muslim, like you just sort of have this right, when in reality you still have to find and study and learn more about Islam on your own. So I can honestly say that I wasn't at that stage yet, and the only time I was wearing hijab was on Saturdays to go to my Arabic/Quran studies. I was that part-time girl, so pretty much during the weekdays I'd go to school like a regular person, and I'd have my weaves, my braids, etc. And I'd be like in school, and as soon as Saturdays would hit, I'd be wearing my hijab. And whenever I'd be making like Snapchat posts or Instagram posts, I can't believe I used to use Snapchat, people would be like, oh my gosh, like, oh, so you're like, I'd get these questions and I never really know how to go about it. Like people would just be like, wait, so are you Muslim? Or like, why don't you wear it all the time? Or, you know, like I valid questions, you know, just like schoolmates being curious and whatnot. I'd also wear it obviously for like Eid, Jumu'ahs, etc. Just whenever I was in a masjid is when I'd actually wear it. Like it never crossed my mind to actually start wearing it. It was never something that was like, oh, I've been thinking about it for so long, like I'm gonna feel it one day, like the need to wear it. Then there was this one summer, during my end junior and beginning senior year of high school, and I remember being on Twitter, and I think the thought started to cross my mind, but not necessarily. Like I was on Twitter and I had seen an Islamic burial, or yeah, I had seen an Islamic funeral, and I don't know what hit me. Like I started looking through the comments and whatnot, and I remember someone saying like, what are you waiting for? And they were talking about hijab, like, why are you waiting to be covered and whatnot? And it definitely shook me to the core, 100%. It shook me to the core. And so I started thinking about it here and there, and I just had this like weird feeling in my chest that just wouldn't stop. And like I don't like like feeling like pressure or guilt or anything like that. So I started debating and thinking about it for some time. And it's not like hijab was a foreign concept to me. I knew how to wear it. I knew how to wrap it. I had a collection. I'm Muslim, I pray, you know, not like a solid collection though, like nothing sturdy. And so then literally there was this one day, it wasn't like the night before I planned it out, none of that. That tweet was still on the back of my mind. And then one morning I woke up for school and I just got up and then put it on. I never had a conversation with anyone, didn't talk to my mom. At the time, my mom also wasn't wearing it. I didn't address it to anyone. I just woke up one day, started getting dressed for school like I normally would, and I just was like, and I grabbed an all-white hijab at that, all-white cotton hijab. I think it was my mom's, because again, my collection wasn't really that sturdy. So I just like grabbed it, wrapped it around, walked out the door, went to school. Majority of the time when I'm leaving for school, no one's really like they home or awake or anything like that. So I just headed out, and no one had even like noticed, because you know I'm leaving out for school. And I went to school and people were like it wasn't like that dramatic. I just remember walking into the school and I wore it confidently. Like you would think that I was wearing a hijab for months and years before that, but like I think that decision, like I always remember that day and the feeling that I had. One thing about me is, I hate making decisions. I'm incredibly undecisive, but I'm so undecisive that I make my decisions quick, because if I don't just like get it over with, I'm never gonna move on. And like I like to see results really fast. Like even when I was apartment hunting, I remember we were like going around, I was like, I'll take it, and like little things. I can describe it. Like, I just need to hurry up and see the aftermath. And you know, like, I hate dwindling or like, you know, spiraling on decisions. I just have to like think fast. So I literally woke up and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put it on. And I just put it on. And then I left out one day. As I mentioned, I went to school with it. And that goes to show the fact that I did that quick, swift decision and it stuck with me all these years. That was at 16, I'm now 22, proves that there's never gonna be a sign. Like, you're never gonna wake up and be like, oh, like, this is the day. Like, a lot of people say like, oh, they just don't feel ready. You're never gonna feel ready. It's just like, you have to like just jump into it steadfast. It's the same way when people talk about when you struggle to wake up for Fajr prayer. They say like, don't even like roll over, turn off your alarm, just jump out of bed as fast as you can. And once your like body is up and like you're touching the cold water, you'll be able to do it. Like, don't overthink it. Like, you just gotta jump in it steadfast. Like, even with praying your 5 daily prayers on time, as soon as the adhan calls, just jump right into it, and it'll just be a lot easier and a lot quicker to execute than letting yourself get all analytical and overthinking it. And I could have been that girl that was like, oh, let me prepare, let me start buying all these hijabs, let me grow my hijab collection. No, I wasn't that much of a modest girly. I just threw on my hijab. I just threw it on. And that's how I would never judge anyone on their journey as well. But yeah, I went to school that day and I just was rocking out, and it was just my thing. And then around that time, I also started discovering Muslim influencers, which was a major help. Like, I was watching like Yasmin Simone, Shahid Batal, Aisha Haidun, and a couple other people, and it was incredibly motivating. And I started trying out their hijab styles as well. And then yeah, I just started wearing it, and I started testing out so many different styles. Like, I started trying out different turban styles. I really don't know where the confidence came from. I think it's because I pursued hijab at the same time that I pursued makeup. So I just was like, yeah, fine, I'll just be like that hijabi that also does makeup. After that year, I graduated at 16. And then when I turned 17, I was like really diving into makeup artistry and like trying to get on PR lists and being a makeup artist, makeup enthusiast, like, you know. And I remember just telling myself like, I don't know if I want to like wear my hijab in videos. I think it'd be better if I wear turbans and also show my edges, because the companies will pay more attention to me. Like, it's gonna be more flattering, you know, all for the aesthetics. Like, I really thought I ate when I made that decision, and I started wrapping it properly less and less and wearing more turban styles and doing really, really fire edge designs. I was good at it too. Like, my edge routine was solid. It just was a way for me to come off as less intimidating, I guess. And I also felt like I didn't see that many like full coverage hijabis in the makeup world, and so I wanted to see more approachable. I wanted to see more pleasing to these brands, and that's insane. But of course, at the time, the hijab was just a scarf to me. I wasn't really at the level that I am now. And even with me attending Quranic lessons on the weekends and like having to memorize Quran and hearing certain things, I wasn't actually learning the meaning behind it. Like, a lot of people that aren't naturally born Arabic speakers can relate. Like, you're reciting words, but you're not actually learning the meaning behind it and getting attached to it. And so I just was a labeled born Muslim, if we're being honest. And then 17, going into college, I lost my Islamic identity even more, because like I still was practicing wearing like regular full coverage hijab, but I just felt like I was in a new environment, and I saw how it affected people around me. Like, in high school, people already knew me for 3 years. I didn't start wearing it until my 4th year, and so it was like a switch. But I was still that girl. I was still makeup MK. I was still KD. Like, these people know me, but in college they didn't really know me. I was designing my new identity, and I realized how much more closed off or respectful people were towards me. And the funny thing is, I didn't like that. To them, I came across as more reserved, and so they also, like, I wanted other people to be comfortable around me, if that makes sense. Like, I even noticed how guys would like act differently, like, you know. And like, for me, it was like, well, why are you guys acting like that? Like, I'm chill. Like, but now, yeah, put some respect on my name. I'm so here for that. The power that my hijab has is insane, and I love that respect. And I can't believe that I wanted to be liked and fit in with the crowd so bad that I just was like, why do people behave differently when I'm, you know, when I'm around, when I'm the only hijabi? I went to a PWI, so people that looked like me were already sparse, and people that also wore hijab was already, it wasn't there, it wasn't giving. I just want to come across as chill. I want to be chill like everyone else. Along with me wanting to be more appealing to the makeup artist you wear, I also want to be more appealing and a chill college girl with other people around me. So I started wearing it less and less. I started testing out so many different turban styles. It was all I wore. Definitely regret that era. I regret it so much. She wasn't cute. She wasn't as cute as she thought she was. But I just didn't want to be that hijabi, you know? And the funny thing is, that's my entire identity now. Like, I'm that hijabi vlogger. Like, I'm proud of my hijab and what I wear every single day. But I just didn't want to be that girl. I wanted to be like everybody else. But I found my space. And my space was just being an entrepreneur, and I'm so glad because it kept me steadfast and so focused on in college. Like, I'm really grateful for my college experience because not only did it shape who I am today and sort of change me and expose me to the lifestyle I didn't want to be a part of, it exposed me to the lifestyle that I thought was so cool and like a part of every teenager's experience that I need to be a part of, but it also showed me that I didn't actually want it that bad. And like, I'm really grateful for the person I am today, and it sort of shaped who I am now. And so like, being an entrepreneur became my entire personality. I was always like focused and like had things to get done. Like, by the time my senior year came around, FOMO did not exist to me. I was that girl that was always in her dorm watching my K-dramas or doing things for my business, etc. COVID hit my ending sophomore year of college. So like, at the time, we went home for spring break and I was applying to internships and I had an interview. And I remember even for the internship, I wanted to be more likable, approachable. I went into the internship not wearing hijab. I wore like my usual go-to, which is like a tie-back scarf, like a tie-back bun with my edges out. I just wanted to seem very like cool, nonchalant, because I was worried about how as a hijabi I'd come across in corporate America, which is just embarrassing. But this is just me being brutally honest with you all. And so I went into that internship. I had my interview. It was successful. The woman I even interviewed with was an alumni from my university, so it went really, really well. And then I was in the Uber going home after the internship interview, and that's when shutdown was announced. That's when my university was like, oh, you're not allowed back on campus because of ABC. I was heartbroken because like, as the eldest immigrant daughter, college was my freedom. I did not want to be home. I was like, wait, what? I'm supposed to be home for like 9 days. What do you mean I can't come back to campus? Who are you? What are you, like, I was crying for days and days and days. Like, I couldn't believe it. I sort of had to adjust to getting used to being at home, and with the remote school, as well as my internship that summer, as well as my business. I'm really grateful because like that year, 2020, my business, my Kim Cosmetics business blew up on TikTok. Like, we had almost 70,000 followers, 67.4K to be exact followers. I remember hitting 20K on my 20th birthday, so August 2020. Was when I hit 20K, and then so forth. We just kept growing and growing and growing so well that TikTok reached out to me. And the fact that this story ties into so many other stories just proves that everything is meant to be. But TikTok reached out to me and was like, yeah, we want you to be part of our creative learning fund. We want you to produce this amount of videos for this and this rate and whatever. And I did it. And again, this was for my business page. My personal page was not even popping. My personal page, I didn't really post on there. I had like 8K followers. Like, there was my personal page, I didn't have anything there yet, you know. I wasn't really posting. I was moving more so away from turbans and more so towards proper hijab. But like, I'm in terms of like my neck and ears being covered, like I still had them edges had me on a chokehold. Them edges have had me on a chokehold for as long as I can remember. So I still was just like, you know, doing that because I found it more flattering, and I just was like, yeah, I don't really want my neck and ears out. But again, it still didn't have anything to do with like religion. It just was like styling preferences, I say. And so they reached out to me. We started making those videos. I started making those videos, and I remember there was this one day, I tell this story every single time. I'm so tired of it. But basically, I'm hoodie obsessed. Y'all should know this already. I'm a hoodie girl, always had been, always will be. And that's where I found a lot of my comfort. So like, no matter what hijab phase I was in, hoodies was always accompanied by it. Turban, bun, whatever. I'm still wearing it with a hoodie. Everyone in high school knows I've always been a hoodie girl. In college, that's all I wore to class. I either was wearing my Snuggies, which is a blanket hoodie, or my softball hoodie. I bought like a brand new super fly hoodie. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, how do I wear this for this video today? Like, it has to look good. Oh my gosh, like, should I wear a bamboo scarf or should I wear a jersey scarf or a chiffon scarf? Either way, I just was really frustrated. They weren't combining properly. I was very frustrated. My neck was looking like really stuffy. You know how it is. If you're a hijabi, you know what it's like to try and wear a hijab with your hoodie. It can be complicated sometimes, and I just didn't like how awkward it looked. Even inside the hoodie, it was just bothering me. And I literally was like stressed out as well because like I wanted to impress TikTok. Like, come on, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. I want to do great. I want to, you know? And so I was like overthinking a lot of stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, like like why aren't there hoodies that come with built-in hijabs? You guys have heard the story before. If you haven't, check out HIJABI shop. Basically, that same day I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to design hoodies that come with built-in hijabs. Da 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 da. I'm not gonna keep going on that part. And so yeah, next thing you know, that happened, and right after that, came back to school for my senior year of college. You know, pandemic was kind of over. So summer 21, we're back, and I'm now a streetwear business owner, as well as a makeup artist, as well as a cosmetics line owner, as well as a college student, as well as a resident assistant. So I was all of these things, and it consumed a lot of my time, but it kept me so focused, which I loved. It definitely changed my mindset around things of like how I wanted to be. But like, honestly speaking, after the pandemic and after my internships and all that stuff, I lost a lot of interest in corporate America. I just was not here for it. I feel like I'm going off on a tangent. I'm supposed to talk about my hijab story. So basically, I came back and I was practicing hijab a lot more. Like, thanks to my hood jobs, brutally honestly speaking, obviously the way it's like built, I like finally got to see myself like with full coverage, no edges. It looks weird when you push it back. No edges, and like neck fully covered, ears, and like I found comfort because obviously I also had the hood to go over it and just like fit perfectly. So it became a norm. Like, I started wearing hood jobs more and more and more, that trying any other hijab style with like anything showing felt weird. Like, you know, the cold sensation you feel when you take out your AirPods, or, you know, anything like that. It felt odd. And so the hijab was my comfort, if I'm being honest. And then I still had my phases though, don't get me wrong. Especially in my senior year, I would look back at like my pictures and I'd be like, wait, like I haven't been a baddie in a long time. Like, I gotta put some respect on my name. Like, I can't let people forget who I am. Like, I am that girl, been that girl. So I'd go through some phases where I spend like the entire day, like, you know, doing my edges and doing all this stuff and like glamming up, just to remind myself of the baddie that I was. Cause like I felt like I was losing that. It's embarrassing. Like, who am I to want to prove myself to anyone, you know? And like, I'd be like, you know, I need to get my nails done to feel more feminine and like all this stuff. But like, I still had things in the back of my mind. Like, obviously can't really have nail polish because like you want to perform your salon properly and like a lot of things. And so yeah, I kept progressing, but moving 10 steps back. Progressing, then moving 10 steps back. So I was going through so many mental battles because I was like, no, this is the old version of me. Like, this is who I am. And at the time, I still was not really comfortable going outside without a full face of makeup. Like, is where I found my comfort. March, right before Ramadan was starting, that April, I started thinking about like abayas and stuff. And I was like, you know, Ramadan's coming around. I kind of want to, like, I really want to leave this Ramadan actually feeling like a changed person. Like, I don't want to enter and leave the same person. And I was like, okay, well, there's, you know, for 30 days Ramadan, I want to cook. I want to wear abayas. I started looking at my closet. I was like, wait, I really have like no abayas or anything like that. And so I did like a big order on AliExpress. Terrible decision. They all shrunk and they're all trash quality. They look cute for the first 5 minutes. But anyways, I was like, yeah, like I need to step it up. And so for the first time in my 4 years of university, I wore an abaya on campus at the end of my freaking senior year. That's crazy. And I don't know why I was so nervous. I think it's because I was like going to class. And I went to a PWI. I was the only black girl in the class. And I was like, I don't want to like intimidate these people. Like, you know, like, and I was just worried about what they would think about me, which is so crazy to me now that like that was even a thought. But this is me being honest. And I wore it and it wasn't even that bad. And the best part about it is I felt like royalty walking around campus. What? It was a great feeling. And I was like, why didn't I do this before? And I started feeling a lot of comfort just doing it more and more and more. And I just was doing it. Like, I get a couple looks here and there, nothing too crazy, but it wasn't as dramatic or as crazy as I thought it was gonna be. Ramadan, I think the Ramadan of my senior year changed me a lot. Like, I really started wanting to pursue our religion a lot more. And as they say, even if you're born Muslim, you still have to find Islam. I just had this yearning and like this want and need to like know more. Like, it's one thing to just call yourself a Muslim, it's another thing to actually practicing Muslim. So felt like it was a time where I was going through a lot of distress. So I put a lot of my reliance in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm so thankful, because if I wasn't making all that dua, I wouldn't be where I am today. Graduation came, I moved in, and I'll say solitude is one of the best things I ever experienced. So when I moved in, I was like, okay, well, this is it. Like, this is me. I have an apartment. I'm doing my business full time. Like, I can do what I want. I can dress how I want without thinking about anybody else. So I made this my new identity. My entire closet is now full of mainly hijabs and abayas. That's literally it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still a streetwear girly, but that journey, like, I hope it all makes sense. I realized that everything that happened led to where I am today, and now it's more so of a religious connection, and I am so incredibly thankful for modesty. Like, I never realized just how much it protected me. It protected me when I was in college. It protected me in so many ways. And there was just one turning point I forgot to mention. So at the end of the year, right, like at the end of my senior year, I started wearing it. I started trying to wear abayas during Ramadan. So I was wearing it like back to back to back, but obviously I didn't have a large collection. And it's funny, I'm wearing the same pants I'm wearing today. I was wearing these H&M like loungewear pants, I'd say, not like sweatpants. And I walked to this diner to say like my goodbyes to a worker there, because like she used to be so kind, and she used to always like take pictures of my Halloween makeup looks. I didn't get into that, but I used to do like graphic Halloween looks. Like, oh my gosh, so many things. That stuff. Like, I'm so glad I'm not that person anymore. But I went there to say my goodbyes to her, because like she was such a sweet woman. I was saying my goodbyes to her, like a co-worker or some other really old guy was like sitting next to her, and like she was standing up talking to me. And like I was like, oh my gosh, yes, no, like we're saying our goodbyes. And the way that man was staring at me, like it literally felt like he was stripping me with his eyes. I felt so disgusted. Like, I walked away from that interaction feeling the worst sensation. Like, as a woman, you already know what it's like to be walking on the street, especially if this, I'm from Philadelphia, come on, like, you know what it's like to be catcalled and stared at. But like, just that day, it was a major switch, because it's one thing to be used to it, and it's nothing to like be used to it, start wearing abayas and feel like royalty, and then that happens the one day you're not wearing it. I literally walked away. I just was like, ugh. Like, I was so like, the pain that I felt in my heart, like I don't even want to get I was really angry that day, and I was like, it just really bothered me. It really hurt me. That's when I realized, like, bro, my modesty is so, like, I love my modesty so much, and it just grew over this summer in the past few months, because like, again, it has been a full year since I graduated, and now I'm over here wearing jilbabs and over here considering niqab. Like, who would have ever thought? I would have never ever thought that. And so I'm losing my train of thought. When you realize that people think like, oh my gosh, like people are forced to wear hijab and da. Oh, and another thing, when I started university, it used to be me versus Islam. It wasn't me and Islam, it was me versus Islam, because like that's the type of reaction I get from everyone and everything. Oh, you don't drink, you don't smoke, oh, y'all can't do nothing. And I started integrating that into my mindset, like, oh my gosh, like my religion doesn't allow me to do anything. I can't have any fun, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do that. Astaghfirullah. The things that this religion protects you from is actually ridiculous. It's actually insane. It's down to the littlest things. Islam is not just a religion with rules, it's a lifestyle, and lifestyle is made to protect you. The basic preachings of waking up early, all these things that millionaires do, staying away from alcohol. Y'all don't see all these news articles about alcohol being directly linked to cancer, as well as tattoos, as well as so many things. Losing brain cells from smoking. And I started to realize that my religion was literally just out here protecting me from stuff. Even little things, Ramadan. Y'all can't eat for 30 days. Don't y'all be intermittent fasting for better health and wealth? And now scientists are saying like, oh, like, yeah, fasting actually helps you fight against cancer. People really had me feel like I was missing out on these sort of things. So many things, like the reality really hit. I wish I can get into it, but there's so many things that Islam has just proved right to me over and over. And there's so many problems in society that Islam could easily solve. And I'm just like, I can't even bear to get into it. It's just too much. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide those who he wills, and I'm so incredibly thankful for it. Even if you are someone who is at this stage, remember not to look down or talk trash about the others, because like you could easily flip back into that stage. It's not promised. So stay humble no matter what. Religion protected me from so much. Even when there was that whole like Marilyn Monroe discourse, like we know how her Netflix show came out, or movie, I didn't watch it, and there were so many stories coming out about like the end of her life. So even though Marilyn's story naturally is heartbreaking when she was alive, I think what really got me was her story after death. So you may tell me Marilyn Monroe was the most beautiful woman in the world, yet the most disrespected. Even after death, men were still abusing her. The fact that one guy paid to be buried next to her, he never got to be close to her in real life, so he said after death he wants to be buried next to her. Another guy said that he wanted to be buried on top of her, face down. Another guy actually buried next to her when he dies, and he told his wife, if you don't bury me next to her, I'm going to haunt you after death. That's insane. That's wild. But like Marilyn Monroe, it's Marilyn Monroe, the most beautiful woman in the world, and she still got disrespected. You know, my modesty is my power. I get to be incredibly selective with who has access to me, and I love that. And I love that. I want to talk about fashion tips that have helped me. That being a hijabi now is literally take advantage of the time. Baggy is in. Back then, and being a hijabi with the full Fashion Nova tube dress and a BBL, they're stepping out of the BBL era. So be thankful. And before that, it was the white girl shorts and acai bowl era. So be really thankful that we're stepping out of that era. Baggy is in. It couldn't be easier being a hijabi now than it has ever been. Shameless self promo. People that are transitioning into hijabis, they love wearing hijabs because like they feel normal and they feel like it's easy to get away with it because like it's just a hoodie, but like you're also, you know, obviously it's a hijab as well. And like I still wear like regular clothes. I'd say I've certainly gotten rid of a lot of things in my wardrobe. Like when I tell you I've gotten rid of a lot, like all of my leather pants, all of my anything not oversized, I got rid of it because I'm like, if I'm transitioning into, if I one day want to be a full-time abaya girly, Khaliji princess / jilbab / niqab girl, then I start weeding out the bad stuff, you know? Don't get me wrong, I'm still like a streetwear enthusiast, but like I'm 10 times baggier now, and it makes things so easy, and it makes you comfortable, and it makes you more confident. Like having to squeeze yourself into 12 pairs of jeans is simply not the vibes. I don't know where my camera cut off at because obviously your girl's out of storage, but pretty much the places that I shop now is I get a lot of things from Jada London. Like I still feel pretty fashion forward, but they release a good amount of like modest stuff. Like 90% of my outfits consist of cargo pants, oversized jeans. Don't sleep on trench coats. Trench coats will take you far because you can just buy one pair of trench coats and still rock 90% of the things that you have in your wardrobe as you start to transition into more modest clothing with a trench coat, because you're still getting that coverage. And it's like the winter hijabi's essential. It's a winter essential as a hijabi. So in the summertime, abayas and kaftans, and in the winter times, trench coats. Trench coats, ankle length and knee length coats will save you a lot. And like honestly, as I started to weed out my wardrobe, just like the whole idea of overconsumption and all of that stuff just like genuinely started to disgust me. I wasn't here for it. I started looking at my wardrobe and like no matter how many things I bought, it never felt like enough. It never felt like I had enough outfits. It never felt like I could get by. But how come with my like 10 jilbabs now, no matter how many fashion hauls or jeans that I purchased, it just wasn't gonna be enough. I'm so glad de-influencing is a thing. Overconsumption is just not the vibes. Like, not only are you wasting the amount of money you spend, now granted, I still am grateful for the spending habits that I had. Like Shein will never be a part of my lifestyle, and I'm so glad I'm not a Shein warrior. I'm so glad, because like people will complain about the prices, like because of Shein and fast fashion. There's so many things wrong with that brand. I don't know how my hijab story has turned into that, but I really want to get into it, and I'm really disappointed in the amount of hijabis that I'll see promoting and showing like, oh, cool modest fashion things that they purchased from there. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be shopping there. They are for slave labor. There's so many things that come out about that brand and the things that they do, and people still shop there just because they want to get enough bang for their bucks. And the same people who are like, oh yeah, like no, like I can't afford to buy $100 abaya or this and that, are the same ones posting $500 Shein hauls, because you're only caring about the quantity over the quality. And that's why it feels like you have no clothes. That's why it feels like your money's going to waste, because those items don't last. If there's no longevity behind it, you have to slowly start building your wardrobe and start buying high quality goods. And this isn't me trying to promote my products because of people complaining its price range. I don't care where you shop. You don't have to shop with me. But one, stop trying to astaghfirullah, these Muslim owned brands is lowering their prices. You know what? I'm gonna keep this discussion for another video before I even really get into it. Like, this has to be an entirely separate YouTube video because I can get into it. But basically, you need to reframe your mindset into all of that stuff. The things you buy, you should want to buy quality items that are going to last in your closet for years and years to come. Stop worrying about trying to keep up with trends and buying as much as you can with as little money as possible, because it's not going to take you anywhere. The best habit my mom has ever instilled into me was that when I used to go to the mall with my friends, I used to always be like, oh my gosh, look at how much I got with only $20, $30. Like, I got like 10 Bath & Body Works hand sanitizers, and I got this and that and that. I remember there was this jacket I came across. I was like, I'm not gonna buy it, it's too expensive. She's like, whenever you have money and you go out, if you have $100 and there's something that is really good and you can keep it and wear it for years and years to come, even if it's $70, buy it, because that's what you're gonna have forever. The other $30 you can spend on the little fun stuff, but I promise you that little fun stuff you're not gonna have for years to come, and you're gonna forget about it. And ever since I had that mentality, my wardrobe is sturdy. And a lot of people have got to break out of that habit. TikTok is like, people are ruthless. Society has a lot of work to do. Stop telling yourself that it's something you can't afford, because you're making that your reality. In reality, it doesn't matter how much people price point their items, people are always going to complain. And I just hate that when it comes to Muslim sellers, it's like a lot, people try to literally guilt trip them into lowering their prices. Like, oh, astaghfirullah, like, these Muslim, like, I see it much worse. Like, people don't understand the quality and effort that goes into stuff, and it's so disappointing. Like, people have gotta get a grip. You gotta get a grip. Like, so yeah, a lot of my wardrobe is Jaded London. A lot of it is also hijabs. Honestly, stepping back from Zara as well. A lot of my jilbabs and abayas are from Bazaar Al Haya, as well as Oud Collections. Aviana is a great abaya brand. I get my trench coats and stuff from like ASOS. I've learned my lesson many times, like trying to get something cheap. Like, remember I once bought a Pretty Little Thing trench coat for 20 bucks. It did not give. Me spending that, I think it was like $80 for my trench coat, gave. It gave, and it gave quality. Buy quality items that you can rewear over and over, and your wardrobe will always be timeless. And you're definitely gonna need a lot less stuff. Like, literally, with all of my abaya options, I'm not even like I don't even have a big collection. I feel like I'm set. Like, I don't need to buy or shop anything. It's funny how the minute I started transitioning out of a lot of overconsumption and more so abayas and jilbabs, I feel set. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything or need to order more things. Like, I honestly genuinely haven't ordered or really tried to like buy stuff in my wardrobe in like months. The only time I'll buy something, like, it's like when I genuinely see a piece that I like and want to add it. That's how it should be. That's how it needs to be. You don't need to be buying stuff just because somebody posted a $500 Shein haul. It shouldn't be like that. The other thing I want to touch on is breaking free from the chokehold that nails, makeup, and lashes has on us, etc. This is a really difficult conversation, and I know it's a battle for all of us, because I was a makeup artist for years. I would have never thought I'd be someone who transitioned into being like makeup free. Never saw that for myself. I couldn't even leave the house without a full face of makeup back then, because I was really self-conscious about my puffy eyes. So like, I felt like I needed it, and I just never thought it could be, you know, I could be that girl. Even my senior year, leading up to graduation, I still was that girl. It wasn't until this summer that it hit me, and I was like, wait, like, I don't even know what my face looks like without makeup. Low-key, that's kind of terrifying. Like, I don't really leave the house without it, and it's like, I need to get comfortable with that version of me, and that's scary. Like, girl, be for real. And so I just started playing around. I was like, okay, well, let me try the really cute, like, 2-3 minute makeup routines. Let me just test it out, see how it goes. So I started just like brushing out my eyebrows and like doing more eyebrow serums. I started actually applying mascara. I'm not even a mascara girl. I wear the bust down 25mm lash girl. And so like, I just started testing it out, and it started working for me. Like, I'm okay now, like just putting on a bit of liquid blush to wake up, some mascara, no brow products. I just like really brush my hairs up, and that's about it. And I never thought that would be me, but like, even some people are gonna be like, oh, like, don't do that either. Like, you shouldn't even do mascara and all that stuff. But like, sometimes I feel like the haram police, especially like Muslim preachers, Muslim men on TikTok, they literally hate girls for being girls. Like, I'm literally just a girl. Like, I'm always gonna have a little love for sitting in front of my mirror and doing a bit of you know, like, it's a part of just me feeling feminine. Be so for real. In terms of like nails and eyelashes, nails, I'd say alhamdulillah. Oh my gosh, I broke my nail. Alhamdulillah, it was a little easy for me because I've always been a fan of my natural nails anyways, and whenever I did get my nails done, my natural nails would ended up feeling pain afterwards. Like, my natural nails are pretty sturdy and like pretty strong, but anytime I go to the nail salon, they'd be brittle, they'd be like bleeding, they'd be like in pain. So I naturally had like distaste for it. So I started no longer getting like acrylics, but I started getting like just gel polish on my natural nails. Even then, obviously we know it's haram, and on top of that, there's so many negative effects of it. So like, for years and years, I had never actually gone to a nail salon until I got on Musical.ly. So like, my first time was like when I was like 14, and I remember like watching like the really cool like music transitions, and people always had like fire nails. Like, you think of that one girl, like I think her name was like Baby Ari, I don't remember her actual name, but like she was like an OG girl, and I was like, I want to be like her, and I want my videos to be like hers. If I want to be like her, I gotta have my nails done, so I could be like, I'm getting money, you know. Like, I really wanted to be a Musical.ly girl. And so I went to this Dust nail salon, and I got my nails done, and ever since then I've always had like a bad reaction. This finger for like years and years and years had like a fungus reaction, and like my entire nail, this is graphic, my entire nail was like missing. It was just like skin, and like it's good now, it's healed, but like I still feel things. Like, when it's really cold outside, this finger is always in pain. That's weird. But anyways, so yeah, nail salons, just, they aren't for you. They don't actually care about you. If there were ever to be like a genuine like halal nail salon, I'm talking just for like pedicure touch-ups, and like that's about it, like filing and like nail care, no polish, I would go. 90% of nail salons are owned by Asian people. They don't really care about us. They're worried about their money, let's be honest. They all are wearing masks when they're doing the procedures. The stuff that they're dealing with is like harmful to your body. Like, so many articles have been released about the chemicals that are being used. At first it was just the chemicals. Now I'm hearing about the UV lights. Now I'm hearing about cancer. So many things. It's just like, is it really worth it? A lot of people grow up in a culture where like, you have to have your nails did, and this appeals to the male gaze. You know, the white toes and the French tips. Let's be for real. Which male gaze are we talking about? Which male gaze are we talking about? Which male gaze are we talking about? Because like, if your goal in life is to find, it's definitely not your goal in life. My goal in life is to be a successful, independent entrepreneur. But like, if you one day want to find that like pious husband who cares about his religion, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be looking for girls with a bust down weave and the nails that are did. That's a different conversation. That's an entirely different category. Like, you attract what you put out, and that's just the blatant truth. And like, it's the reality. Like, you're gonna attract a certain crowd behaving and looking a certain way. And don't think that I'm saying this in the sense of you need to change your identity to attract a certain male species, because we know, if you know me, you know my little care that I have for men. But I'm saying, for some people out there, not all of us, because I used to hate when people were like, oh my gosh, like, you do makeup like for boys. Like, no, it was my actual passion. But there are some people out there who feel like they have to have a certain level of like feminine behaviors to be attracted to men. Like, oh, like nails gotta be did and this, or even some boys out there are like, yeah, like my girl, her nails gotta be did. Trust me, wrong crowd. Wrong crowd. That's not the person you want to spend your life with as a Muslim woman. Why would they want you to participate in haram? Why? Let's be so for real, guys. Let's be so honest with ourselves. Let's be so honest with ourselves. We want to attract that kind of person. Like, even like the whole like, oh, like I'll wear hijab after I get married. Anyways, I can't even get too much into it, but that's just my advice on nails, makeup. In terms of lashes, again, I used to only feel pretty with my 25mm lashes, and then I was like, I don't even know what my eyes look like. I'm not even comfortable with my own eyes without lashes on, and that scared me. And so I transitioned. As soon as you start to test it out, like just test the waters, just try routines that include less and less. From someone who had a successful cosmetics line selling bust down 25mm lashes to now not even wearing them and like relying strictly on mascara is a full 360, and it's actually insane. But like, at some point it's gonna hit. I'd say what helped me was, this is really weird, but what helped me was I was looking at a lot of like celebrities, and I was like, wait, like celebrities don't even like really wear like like they're like natural babes, low-key. They're faking it, obviously. Like, look at some celebrity pictures and just notice how they don't really need like a 25mm bust down lash to look good. And like, we love them, we adore them, and like they're just so mashallah, like what? And like, even K-dramas, like I'd watch them. This is so weird, but like the Korean beauty standard is like the natural face. It really is. Like, I don't know how they do it. First of all, I don't want to talk about Korean skincare, but like everything about it is like, they're so, I love these characters, I love these dramas, I adore them, but I didn't have to adore them. Like, they didn't need the 25mm bust down lash to be adored. I really hope this stuff is making sense, but like, that's honestly also what helped and encouraged me. Like, I was like, why aren't I comfortable with my own face? Like, I should appreciate that. I want to enjoy that, you know? So yeah, I am where I am today. I'm not certified. I'm not that certified girl, but like, I'm making progress and I'm really thankful for it. I went from wearing hijab to college not really wearing it, not even considering myself a hijabi because I only wore turbans, to now practicing wearing jilbabs, abayas, all the above. I'm really thankful that it is a journey. If you are thinking about it, I promise you, jumping in it straightforward is going to be a lot easier. The sooner you get into it, the sooner you're going to get better at it. Like, it's not going to magically come to you. You're not going to magically find your style. You're not going to magically feel comfortable, but like, the sooner you execute, like the sooner you'll get to your ending. Like, you're gonna be so proud of yourself, I really promise you. And it's really something that's part of my entire identity, and I wouldn't be who I was today without it. And I'm really thankful, alhamdulillah. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it wasn't all over the place. And thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys in my next one.
رباه عفوك إني للنور مدت يداي نزعت أسرار قلبي